Well, welcome to our Forbidden Door review, friends. This was it was long. It didn't feel as long as, like, the card looks.
Yeah, because there was, like, 14 matches or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on here.
They got some of the matches in and out of there pretty quick.
Yeah.
I got so much hate on Twitter for saying that this was...
shocking.
I said in terms of consistency, I still have Revolution as my favorite pay-per-view of anything this year. But I said in terms of consistency, this one might be pay-per-view of the year. If somebody came up and told me that this was pay-per-view of the year, I wouldn't be, like, super mad at them.
Yeah, you're not a WWE fan, so...
I like WWE. I'm just not a WWE only
You're not a
person
psychopath. A WWE
who
psychopath.
lost their mind because they were like, WrestleMania 40 was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I was there. It was
It's
good.
just literally exhausting because it's like...
Night one sucked.
It's repeatedly just saying, if you don't like it, then just don't watch it. Then just don't talk about it. It's just like, it's a never-ending just like repetition of us just like saying the same thing of like, if you don't want, like, we don't care if you don't like it, then it's fine, just don't watch it. Just like, let us live.
It is funny the amount of people are like, that show sucked. And I'm like, you watched it? And they're like, no. Like, all right, can't have both.
Right. But also just like, then shut the fuck up.
However, to give a lot of praise here, they started off pre-show 0 hour. Yeah. Kyle Fletcher and Serpentico. Don't know why we needed to do that.
I don't either.
At all.
Probably just to get Serpentico on the card.
Kyle Fletcher. Are you with me?
What?
That I've made a joke on the podcast that I hate Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah.
Because of his dumb hair, and he did in front of the Hardys. So I had to hate Kyle Fletcher.
I'm in the middle. I don't hate him, but I don't love him.
Secretly, this is not for if anyone brings this up on the podcast. This doesn't count. This is just for YouTube.
I'll cut this out. Oh.
No. This is just for the YouTube lads, real ones. I'm starting to turn around a little bit on Kyle Fletcher and starting to like him, but I'm never going to actually admit that on the podcast. Thank you so much.
This is going on the Patreon also.
First, there'll be plenty of people there's like 60, 70 people that watch the podcast. Like, if 5 people say it, I'm just gonna say that they're all lying. I'm gonna gaslight our audience. Then we had Willow and Tam Nakano.
Oh yeah.
Versus Stat.
I also didn't watch that.
Who else was on there? Now I forget. The big thing was that Willow won.
Yeah.
And then this is being recorded after Dynamite. She then beat Stat.
Yeah.
Willow 2-0 on Stat.
Yeah.
So that means that we're going to have Willow versus Stat at All In.
Probably. There's a good chance Stat wins.
Stats wins.
Yeah.
Stat's 100%.
I feel like people are like, oh, like setting up for All In, and I'm like, damn, that's so far away. And then I'm like, no, we're in July.
No, it's not.
It's actually pretty close.
Yeah.
And then you want to talk about LIJ.
Mystico, so the House of Black winning the 4-way match, I still just have no idea why we put Roddy Strong and Gabe Kidd together.
Anywhere?
No, Gabe. Well, I mean, Private Party got on the card, which is cool. But Gabe Kidd was just sitting there. Bullet Club War Dogs was just sitting there for Bullet Club Gold.
Yeah.
It was a huge match.
Yeah.
And they were like, 0 hour pre-show 4-way tag with Roddy Strong.
Maybe they want to make that like a bigger thing and didn't want to push it yet.
Well, I just think that Tony Khan should pay for his sins. Right?
Oh, okay.
He should pay for his crimes.
Okay.
And that was a crime.
Some AEW content creators feel the same way.
Yeah. But however, what he should not pay for, what he gets out of prison for, is Mystico and Lucha Bros versus LIJ, which was one of the best pre-show matches I've ever seen in any company ever.
Wow.
They were getting He's
a Lucha Bros whore, though. Like,
I love Lucha Bros. I love Lucha Bros, but fun fact, my favorite wrestler in all of that 6-way wasn't even Mystico. It was Hiromu. They had Hiromu, Yoda-Tsuji, and Titan. That shit was made. Titan was there to take the pin, but god damn, that was good. That was such a good match. Mystico's amazing.
The only thing, I think that's the only match I saw part of. Yeah. But I was doing my makeup at the time, getting ready for the Forbidden Door pod. So.
Yeah, I had already done my makeup, so.
Right, okay. And then House of Black won. Oh, we already talked about that kind of, the 4-way.
Yeah, speaking
Is there a
of
point
Titan, Mystico, I think it gave, legitimately, if you want me to be 100% real, I think it put Gabe Kidd on the card.
Okay.
And they're
like,
a lot
here,
of people
Malachi. To put in a match just for Gabe Kidd to be on the card.
I forget the third team or the fourth team. Because Private Party, House of Black, Gabe Kidd, and it was Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii.
Oh, okay.
Stone Pitbull.
Sure.
But speaking of all of these CMLL wrestlers, we got a banger to start off with.
Okay.
MJF versus one of my new favorite wrestlers, Hechicero.
Yes. You got a couple new favorite wrestlers during this
oh
pay-per-view,
my
actually.
oh yeah, we'll get to one. We'll get to one that became like my new favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
But Hechicero, very different styles.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. This was not my favorite.
Really?
I didn't dislike it, but it just was not my favorite. I think a couple things. One, it takes me a while to get into a wrestler.
Yeah.
Most of the time. It's very few wrestlers that I have an immediate click with. So that's one of the things I like about Forbidden Door is that I can see all these different people and then they get kind of integrated into AEW a little bit for a couple months and I can kind of feel it out.
Yep.
But I feel like I haven't seen much from Hechicero outside of the match.
Hechicero. That's because she doesn't pay attention in Collision.
That's probably why.
He's always on Collision.
Oh, I didn't even know that bitch was in AEW at all.
He hangs out with Gates of Agony.
Who?
Brian Cage and Bishop Khan and
oh god, not them.
This is why she turns off her mind. That's when she's like, I got to do makeup or something.
If there's somebody I don't like on TV, I'm
and
literally
you
just
particularly do not give a damn about Brian Cage.
I really dislike him. I have a really strong dislike for him, and I can't explain
crazy.
it.
He messaged me. This is not on some weird Drake type stuff. He messaged me when I was 13, 14.
You might be making a Drake.
No. I was asking him wrestling advice because I wanted to start wrestling. And he actually answered me. And he was very nice.
Wasn't
and he was
on Facebook?
It was on Facebook.
So weird.
It was at the time. I used to talk to Pro Wrestling Ohio guys like Johnny Gargano and stuff.
That's right. It's weird. Yeah, no, I think this was a good match. I just I don't know. I think me being selfish. I prefer MJF in storyline matches.
Yeah.
This didn't really have that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, literally
nothing.
Nothing of a story here because he was supposed to face Roosh and then CMLL wouldn't allow that.
Which also, we need to discuss. Pull the hair out of your ass and move on.
It's hilarious that she says this as is this a 100-year feud between CMLL and
no, I
AAA.
get that, but if I'm Tony, I'm sorry, then don't be on the card.
Yeah, but then if you can't get CMLL wrestlers on there and they're both actually we'll just not have either one of them on the card. You'd like to play ball and get Hechicero on there.
It's just so irritating to me that they can basically force Tony's hand into removing a wrestler from a feud that he already has going.
Yeah, that does suck.
That's if I was Tony, I'd be I don't know who the fuck you think you are talking about my pay-per-view, bitch. If this was CMLL and AEW was going to their pay-per-view and they were oh, we want MJF, and they're oh, he's in a feud with Roosh, and they'd be yeah, you're fucking on drugs if you think that we're putting that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm totally down for that. But this is Tony's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And Roosh is an AEW wrestler.
Yeah.
So you can hate on whatever he did previously all you fucking want. That's my guy. Oh. And he's going on this pay-per-view, bitch. Now, mind you, normally I give no fucks about Roosh.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think that this
has ignited a fire in me.
I think AEW dropped the ball.
On
I think they dropped the ball with MJF's return. We're, especially with Wednesday, we're back.
Yeah.
But MJF coming out facing Roosh and then that match or that feud not even going to the pay-per-view was a humongous failure. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Hechicero was great. I mean, the flips that he was making. MJF does a really cool entrance where he comes out in the the Islanders gear and Mets gear type. It was blue and orange. Knicks. And then kind of does the crowd surf, but it's a really bad crowd surf. And Taz mentions, he was like, wow, that was a bad crowd surf. Because Taz doesn't care. But I think that Hechicero, MJF is a really, really, really good seller. So, he can kind of contort his body to be however they say he's not a luchador, he's not a high flyer, but he can flip when he wants to, and he's nimble enough to do the moves that Hechicero wants him to do, to make Hechicero look impressive, and then obviously MJF ends up winning this, which I think that nobody thought that Hechicero was going to win.
No, we're not stupid. I just think I think the problem is just it was a series of unfortunate events. Yeah. When MJF was out. Yeah. Adam Cole gets his foot smashed into a million fucking pieces, which basically eliminated the entirety of that story because then Adam Cole couldn't do anything. And they tried to keep it alive. To be fair, it probably would have gone downhill regardless because of who they chose to be under those fucking masks. I will never forgive Tony Khan for that. But then MJF being out. But then, like, they both just kind of dip. Yeah. So it's like, when MJF comes back, you can't just, like, act like it didn't happen. So he has to address Adam Cole. But then the story's so dead, they don't want to continue it. So they literally address it, and then he, like, completely ignores that.
Yeah.
Then we move on to what would be Roosh. But if you know Forbidden Door is coming up, wait until after to have Roosh there. Unless there was some reason Tony thought it was going to be okay to have Roosh on the card.
I imagine that's what it was. Is that
he thought it would be fine. And
because after they were setting it up, from what I had heard, after they were setting it up, CMLO was like, why are you going to put this guy in the card?
Just so, like, I don't know who you think you are.
He's wrestled Triple A. However, so do the Lucha Bros. And I know the Lucha Bros have said, like, oh, we're not doing it this year anymore. So maybe they're, like, contractually, like, out. Yeah. But I think Roosh had left CMLL and went to Triple A. Or maybe, so I think that may be like, oh, he left us. He's not going to be on the card. That's what I have to imagine.
I just can't deal with that.
I'm not the most knowledgeable about CMLL.
I just like that. Just like infuriates me.
Yeah.
I'm Team Roosh. Okay.
I'm Team Roosh. That's the first time and probably only time that she's gonna say that.
I am very serious about this topic.
Yeah.
It fucking irritates me.
Yeah.
It literally. I'm like, who do you think you are, bitch? I don't even know who these people are. I don't even know your fucking name. Whoever bitch is running CMLL, I don't even know his name.
This is why Marisa could not be a politician.
No.
You couldn't go through and like make agreements with everyone.
No, probably not. But I think that's why I like watching Madam Secretary, because she's really good at doing that and like making it work. I'm like, I could literally never. I'd kill myself, but like you're doing great.
Yeah. You like how other people can do it.
Right. I like watching it. I like watching things that I'd never be able to do.
Low key, if AEW gets that deal with Max, Hard Knocks, but it's just following Tony Khan around as he's trying to build a pay-per-view would be so riveting.
I would be seated.
That would be so fun.
Because I know it's chaotic.
Yeah.
I'd be so
100%.
seated.
Actually, like specifically for Forbidden Door, I'd love to see how that booking happens.
Next, we had my guys, the Elite, our EVPs.
There's one great one in there, and that's
our EVPs beat.
You said like who cares?
You know, Bowens, unfortunately, the other thing. And Tanahashi.
Scissor Ace. Shout out Ace. We got Okada and Tanahashi for a 67th time. I'm actually not joking. I think it was like 64th.
But I like the way that they did it, where it was like Okada and Tanahashi like got their time at the end to kind of like wrap it up, and like that was kind of the little like nod to their previous feud. Yeah. I think that was the way to go. We gotta listen. There's something. If there's one thing about wrestling fans that makes me really, really happy,
I don't know where we're going here.
It's that we have all simultaneously decided that Max Caster fucking sucks.
Bro, the internet hates him.
Because he fucking sucks. He is not a nice person. He is obnoxious. He is egotistical. He can't take a compliment. He never shuts the fuck up. His raps suck. I could rhyme better than that.
Patreon people, you can't. You cannot.
I absolutely could. Okay, that's my next goal.
To start rapping?
I'm not gonna rap it, but I'm gonna write it out and have somebody else rap it. Who raps? Who can rap? If I write it and it like all rhymes.
You're gonna be a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I bet you I can come up with it. The only good rap he's ever done is the one about Dominic and Buddy Matthews.
What about the one with Vince McMahon while we were in Columbus?
Wait. Oh my God, what's his name if it's not Buddy Matthews? What was the other one? Buddy Matthews or
Brody
Buddy what?
King.
No. Buddy Matthews or Buddy what? He
went
by
Buddy Murphy.
Oh, okay, which one was he? Which one is he now?
Buddy Matthews.
It is Matthews.
Now.
Okay.
Yeah. Murphy was.
I don't give a fuck
when he was
either
put
way.
On bangers with Mustafa.
But yeah, so anyway, this was a good match. I don't think it was anything like super big to celebrate. But kind of like now that I've learned recently, like how cards are lined up, where like the second match is usually the one that people care the least about. I am surprised but impressed that the Elite put themselves there.
Yeah, but if we're being honest, there was only 2 matches that could have been second.
No, 100%. But I think a lot like you put Jericho in charge and he's putting himself at the main event.
Yeah, probably.
Like I'm just like, I don't know. I think I look for that shit.
Yeah.
Where I'm like the people in charge. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm looking at every detail. Of it. And I mean, you know, go EVPs. You're killing it. You're slaying. I love everything that you're doing. You're doing amazing. And you look great doing it. You have great suits. So
They
awesome.
didn't look great doing it.
Anyway, next we have Danielson beats Takagi.
Shingo Takagi, yeah.
That was via ref stoppage.
Yeah.
I'm unsure how I feel about that.
No, I think it was amazing.
Although I don't know much about Takagi, if I'm being honest. So anybody watching, this is actually the best podcast review for you to watch because he knows everything and I know little to none.
I don't know everything because CMLL tested my knowledge on
That's
wrestling.
fair. But you know a lot about these people and I don't know as much. So any of the questions that you're probably thinking as he's talking, I'm about to ask them.
Marisa watches Shingo Takagi and she doesn't know that she watches
I've seen
Shingo
him.
Takagi.
No, I'm so serious.
We have done a decent amount of New Japan
been on
podcasts. He's one of the main guys.
Which one is he? What does he look like again?
He's the dragon. Like, he is
No, I know it's his nickname. What does he look like?
Shingo. I don't know how to
Shingo
describe him. Long black hair, red tights.
Takagi.
Built like a brick shit house is how people describe.
Oh, I've seen him.
Yeah.
I've seen him.
Well, I mean, you saw him at Forbidden Door.
What does his
Yeah.
face look like?
What? A face?
No, he kind of looks like that guy in that. Oh my God, I
In that
can't.
thing,
What's
yeah.
the movie? Oh no, what is he in? He's in something. I see it.
She does this a lot, and it's typically the answer is he was in NCIS, CSI, one of those crime shows.
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Donald Trump?
No, God no.
So not Donald Trump.
No. So hold on, wait. Hold on. Okay, Home Alone 2. He's like the hotel dude.
It's crazy to be like, Shingo Takagi looks like the hotel manager of Home Alone 2. Which actually, that would be the second Home Alone character that you think is someone in AEW because she believes
That
Matt
guy.
Menard looks like. One, it's Tim Curry. Literally super famous Tim Curry of, what's the big movie? Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I haven't seen that before.
And also,
But no, when I looked at that photo of him, that's what I thought of.
looks zero like him.
No, but like show that photo.
Yeah. Does this look like Tim Curry?
I thought it kind of did. It's blurry. People can't. I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah. We'll put up a photo of Shingo Takagi.
It was the first. I think it's the eyes and the eyebrows. It's the eyebrows that like come in. Like that's
Can
why.
can I just be honest the way that I think Shingo Takagi looks?
No.
He looks just like an uncle.
Oh, okay.
Like, just to me, he looks like an uncle.
about it.
No. He just
Okay.
looked like an uncle.
So you were good with this match?
Oh, I love this match. I think it's probably my third favorite match of the card. Arguably second. I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with my second one, even though I think, based off of TikTok reactions, but I think that they're being weird about it. This is a great match. I love the ref stoppage. I didn't see Shingo tap.
I don't think
Shingo
you did.
quit.
I think it was just the refs. No, it was like the ref stopped it
Well,
before
Aubrey
he quit.
was like, and we were kind of like waiting for the tap, and she was like,
Yeah, I don't. Think,
I don't know
I
if
think
that
it was
was-
that he was like knocked out. I think is what it
Maybe.
was supposed to be. Because like when I looked it up for like the results to like set everything up,
Yeah.
like it said via ref stoppage, not tap out. So I don't think he tapped out. I think it was Aubrey chose.
regardless, banger. This was for the Owen to move on.
That's right.
And then we obviously seen on Wednesday Danielson beat Pac, so he is now in the finals,
Yep.
where he will lose. But this was a great match. I love that we got to see Danielson and Takagi, because I think that this was the first time ever. You had seen Shingo when he wrestled Mox in that street fight, Battle in the Valley. I can't remember who his Wrestle Kingdom opponent was this year. He's put on bangers with Will Ospreay, Okada, Tanahashi. Shingo's awesome. I believe he's in the G1 as well.
When does that start?
It's this month,
Oh, really?
because we're doing the qualifiers for the final spot in both A and B. And
Damn.
Tana just lost. It's going to be the first time in 20 years that Tana's not in it.
Okay. Next we had Tony Storm defeats Mina, and they all become friends.
Well, even more than friends.
A little more than friends.
Yeah. I actually think this match was super good.
Yeah. No, it was a really good match. I very much enjoy Mariah's acting throughout this entire storyline.
Mariah's great.
She's killing
man.
it.
She's truly the, I don't know if she's the MVP of the story, because Tony Storm is putting on generational character work.
Yeah.
But she is right up there.
She's right
with
behind her.
And I also think Mina Shirakawa is arguably the most, like, the fans have gravitated towards the most of anyone that is not AEW during this Forbidden Door feud. She's been super entertaining. I know a lot of people are like, wow, we really want her in AEW. I do think that it becomes a little bit like, I don't think that this should be a combine for, who should AEW sign? You know
I saw somebody tweeting about that. It was one of the bigger accounts on Twitter that I see a lot being like Forbidden Door is not like who should AEW sign next.
Yes.
Forbidden Door is supposed to be showcasing other companies to you for exposure so that you can see what else is out there and learn about these other people.
You go find them, which we're going to talk about later, someone that I really found. Yeah. I just want to go find their work.
Right.
Not be like, well, now AEW has to sign them.
Right.
I wouldn't mind AEW bringing in talent as well, but they already have such a loaded roster that it's fine to be like, wow, this person really impressed me. Now let me go watch them do their thing over there.
Yeah.
Mina is one of those people.
Yeah, definitely.
However, we had seen Mina multiple times already.
I really am just like, I think my favorite thing about this story is I genuinely don't know who's turning and where they're going or what side is being picked at anything. Like, they keep going back and forth of teasing, like, is Mariah going to pick Tony? Is she going to turn on Tony? Is she going to pick Mina? Is she not going to pick at all? Are Tony and Mina just going to fight and, like, leave Mariah? Like, it could literally be any of these options, yet we literally don't know. Yeah. And I love me some unpredictability. So I'm excited.
I don't know how much Mina is going to be.
Marina, that's their couple name.
Marina, that's their couple name. I don't know how much they are going to. She is going to be involved in the All-In build-up. I think obviously Mariah is going to win the Owen because she won in the pre-show match against Saraya.
Oh yeah,
it was like 5 minutes. But she beat Saraya, so she moved on. She's going to win the entire thing against Willow.
I can't wait.
And then we're obviously getting Mariah versus Tony.
Yeah. I still think it's, if I were booking it, the way I would go is Mariah beats Tony, and she expects Tony to be like so proud of her, and she's so excited. She's like, oh my god, like I finally get my first like title run in AEW, and Tony's like, I'm gonna kill you, bitch. And then Tony just beats the hell out of her. Yeah.
She goes heel. Yeah. I am kind of thinking that Mariah's gonna be heel. Just when the way that they've built it up.
I just don't know how you're gonna do it.
Maybe it's to swerve. I think that so many people love Tony that it's gonna be really, really hard for her to be. But a
lot of people like Mariah.
They do. Like I could really.
She's become a fan favorite quick. A lot of people do love Tony, but I think Tony is a much easier heel to make. From where they're at right now, it's much easier to get Tony to heel than Mariah. Because right now Mariah's just like, I want everybody to be friends, and I love you both so much. And like it just wouldn't fit her character to like switch to a heel.
I think she could play a bitch though. I think she can totally flip.
I think in the story though, I don't think it makes sense. It feels like forced.
She obviously, we see Tony win, and Mina is clearly upset, and she asks Tony to do a handshake with Mina.
Yeah.
Which they do.
They do.
And then Mariah proceeds to ask Tony to hug Mina.
Yeah.
Which they do. Mm-hmm. And then it's like Mariah...
It's like a group kiss
going on. Yeah. Then Mariah says, let's all kiss. And then they all three kiss.
And then they all danced.
Off, and they danced at the press conference.
They did.
And now
that was a weird one
seemingly live in perfect harmony.
For the next 5 minutes. Until something else goes down, yes.
Because something's happening at All In.
Yeah. I think this is one of my most excited... Like, the stories I'm most excited for All In.
This is going to be one of the best stories.
This is definitely, like, I'm thinking through it, and I'm thinking top 3, maybe top 2 I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
And I'm saying top 3 or 2 only because there's a group of men that I'm very excited to see how it plays out, and I don't know if they're going to be in the same match or different ones. I don't know where they're going to land, which I'll get to at the end.
Okay.
We'll come back to that. Okay. Next is one that I'm going to be real. I don't give a fuck. Zack Sabre Jr. beats Orange.
That's crazy.
I'm mad because I lost points in our fantasy wrestling league because I have Orange, so that kind of pissed me off. And also Zack Sabre Jr. creeps me out because he has a feet problem.
He likes to work on the feet.
I just don't. It's so fucking creepy. It like, I can't do it.
I love this match. I thought that this was a great match. I think it really, really shows.
I'm not saying it's a bad match. I'm saying I am creeped out.
I think it shows Orange Cassidy is one of the most underrated wrestlers in the world.
I do think he gets overlooked. I think because his character work is so strong that I think he gets overlooked as like, people like the personality, people like the character he plays, so people don't focus as much on the wrestling side of him.
I think it's actually the opposite. I think people assume that because his character is this lazy wrestler that he is a lazy wrestler.
It just kind of reminds me of like that thing that MJF said, which is so accurate, but he's like, I'm so fucking good on this mic.
Yeah.
That y'all forget that I'm amazing in the ring until I do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the reasoning might be different, but I think the cycle is very similar.
He's so good and so committed to this gimmick.
Yeah.
That people don't talk about how good he is as a wrestler. Yeah. I love the fact that Orange Cassidy attempts to actually defeat Zack Sabre Jr. while his hands are in his pockets because he said, like, I can beat you with my hands in my pockets. Yeah. Like, he actually, I think, underestimates Zack. Because Zack in this entire thing says, I don't underestimate you.
Right.
And that's Orange is kind of playing a little bit cockier of a person.
Yeah.
Which is a complete flip to what I thought that the story was going to be. But then Zack in the press conference gives him a ton of praise. Zack ends up winning this. I believe with a submission. I can't remember how exactly they did, or maybe just like pretzeled him up and pinned him. There was a ton of like pretzeling in this.
Yeah.
Pretzeling in this pay-per-view.
He's weird.
But Zack had a phenomenal showing, and I really, really hope that he is the guy to win the G1. Outside of Takeshita, who I would love, but obviously Takeshita's not New Japan. So,
I am waiting for Takeshita's, whatever his big moment is, his big push.
Yeah,
I
think
feel
we're
like
all
coming.
waiting for that.
I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talk about it. Started from like one tweet, but like it got hundreds of thousands of views, and everybody was agreeing with it and like going off of it. But everybody's been like, we are waiting in 2024, maybe early 2025, for what is the big push for Takeshita and for Daniel Garcia. Like, when is it occurring?
Yeah.
Like, these two guys are, like, literally, they're, like, right here. Literally just, like, we're all just waiting for that one moment where they, like, just fucking pop off.
It's what everyone has said is that, like, the next big thing is going to be Garcia, Takeshita, Orange, and Hangman are kind of like the wrestlers that they're building around. And Swerve.
Yeah.
That are the wrestlers that they're building
and Jack
around.
Perry.
We have clearly seen Hangman being built.
Yeah.
We've clearly seen Orange being built.
I'm very excited for some more Hangman. I know we're talking not about Dynamite, but I'm very excited to see where this Hangman character goes because my guy is invested.
Yes.
He is in the character.
He's winning the Owen. He is winning the Owen. I'm so excited.
This is method acting.
Yes.
I think he might actually be drinking.
I think he is. I think he's actually drinking.
I think he's actually method acting it. Yeah. So this next match makes me sad. And I will tell you why. So it's Hook, Shibata, and Samoa Joe versus Jericho and the other two.
Yeah, you don't need to explain anymore. It made you sad. Jericho was on the card.
That's not the only reason it makes me sad.
Oh, okay.
It makes me sad because Hook, Joe, and Shibata are genuinely becoming one of my favorite things to watch week over week. And literally 3 months ago was like, I don't get Samoa Joe. And I think it's
crazy. It's
I
one
really
of the most
like
asinine things to say ever in life.
Bitch. I just like, he never like hit for me. I didn't say he was a bad wrestler. I just like never was like invested in him. Yeah. But now like these three as a trio, I love. And I'm like, and we're sticking them with Jericho. Like, one, obviously, Matt Jericho's even on the card. I'm so fucking sick of this old-ass bitch. But two, if you're going to put him on the card, respectfully, put him up against somebody that's, like, people aren't as invested in. I think the thought process was, like, people will care because people like Shibata, Hook, and Joe.
Right, you could have done Chris Jericho versus Dick Togo. Yeah.
That's my guy. Okay, we don't disrespect Dick Togo. He just liked my Insta post.
He did.
Again.
He did.
Because we're besties. So yeah, it's just like, it just irritates me because then I'm like, oh yeah, I love this trio. And then I remember what they're doing. And I'm like, oh. So I need this to end. I don't know how we get Jericho off TV. We all thought we were going to get Jericho, like, finally off TV taking a break. And then they come out with the fucking learning train. I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. I can't do this.
I'll admit, I've liked some of the learning tree stuff.
I can't.
I like the private party stuff. I would like it if they kind of disband from the Jericho feud. Like, it's not too long.
Do you think that Jericho kind of stole some of this from me?
Show your work.
So, you know how, like, I kind of have, like, I'll do that thing sometimes where I'm being, like, really obnoxious. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Oh, my God, it's amazing. You're doing great, sweetie. And it's, like, that really annoying kind of voice.
I wouldn't call it annoying.
Right.
But no, I 100% understand exactly what you're talking about.
Thanks. But, like, is that not kind of similar to when he's like, hey, guys. No, that's great. Make sure you do that. He kind of stole my fucking shit.
Yeah, I don't think that it was from you.
No, he kind of stole my fucking shit.
So. I personally don't think so.
All right, next topic. the best moment of 2024
Jesus Christ.
in all of wrestling
Oh my God.
and sports
Oh my God.
and
She
history.
was there to watch Cody Rhodes win at WrestleMania, by the way.
That was also great. That was also long over fucking due. This was also overdue because of the other bald dude. Wow, bald dudes really be ruining my life.
Who's the other bald dude?
Triple H. And
No.
oh my God, what's his name?
What bald guy is ruining Jack Perry?
Oh my God, what's his name? Daniels.
Oh, Christopher Daniels.
Thank
Got
you.
it. Got it.
But one of my favorite things about this, outside of the fact that, Jack Perry redeeming himself after having the title stolen from him in the first place.
Right, stolen.
Yeah. So he earned
the
that title.
Elite
He
giving him the
pinned
title, yeah.
Brian Danielson. Okay, the best wrestler and everything. Yeah, he pinned him. So yes.
While Darby was
what I think I
hanging.
liked is that we started off really strong, right? So we all enter the ring, enter the match. Bell rings and Jack Perry exits the ring, right? Okay, let the peasants fight as they do.
I did like him.
Right.
doing this.
And I think he absolutely killed it. He let the other people fight their way through and then just came in and took the shit that was his at the end. And I think it was amazing. I will say, Briscoe had a crazy fucking spot with the ladder.
Crazy spot with the ladder. Takeshita had the greatest table break of all time.
I
It's that-
still see people posting the video
Blue
being like, this
Thunderball?
is so satisfying to watch.
Bro, it's so great to watch.
It
It's just everything explodes perfect. It's
Yeah.
like a video game.
It's like ASMR in wrestling.
That is the most ASMR thing in wrestling ever.
Yeah.
ELP doing the titty twister. He did that to Jack.
He
right?
did it to Jack. I don't really know anything about him. So, and at this moment, you were upstairs with the dogs.
Yes.
So I'm sitting here, and he starts doing it to Jack, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what is wrong with him? I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? And everybody's in chat like, that's his thing. They're like, oh, the titty twister. I'm like, the what the fuck you just say to me?
Yeah.
What is happening right now?
He got Logan Paul chance as well.
That was so disrespectful.
Because he does look like Logan Paul.
He does look like Logan
Like
a
a
little
lot.
bit, but disrespectful.
But
But that was a really good match. I get like you want more matches, for the champion. You want it to be entertaining or whatever. It was already Jack's title, but that's fine. But you know what? I'm glad that Jack just got another moment in the spotlight,
Right,
as he
right.
deserves.
Yeah, that was a fuck you to Christopher Daniels. 'Cause
Yeah.
Now Jack got an even bigger moment.
Exactly. Honestly,
I will say, watching this back, Leo Rush did really, really well in this too.
he
He killed
came
it.
through the ropes like a bullet.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
that one spot. I think he landed on a couple different guys. But he goes through the ladder, through the ropes, and he came through so fucking fast that I was like, a bullet.
Yeah. Leo Rush, Darby Allin, that could be really, really fun.
That would be insanity.
I want to say
scared
they
of
did
that.
that before, but I'm not 100% sure.
I haven't seen it, but I don't know.
But I honestly think that he could be a great opponent for the TNT Championship. However, it looks like maybe he won't be, because it looks like maybe it's Mark Briscoe right now.
They're bringing
after
Briscoe
Dynamite.
onto Dynamite a lot more lately,
I think
which
he
I'm
re-
fine with.
I think
but
he really makes sense for Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
He's just he is going to be the crazy SOB that is going to be completely unpredictable. He's
Yeah.
not getting the pin on anybody, but he's just going to be the psycho in the match.
Yeah.
And I'm down. I really hope that it's not the Acclaimed and Kyle O'Reilly.
I'll kill myself.
Because that seems really disappointing.
That's something
Respectfully.
I actually think I'm going to be talking about. I said what I said, is that AEW has this history of coming up with a really badass team on one side and then a really fucking boring one on the other side. And I don't really know why when you have so many cool people to pick from.
It's just really crazy to me because it's Tony Khan seems like he's on the internet 24/7, but it's just you have to see the reaction towards
Yeah.
the Acclaimed.
Yeah. Or at the very least, Caster.
Yeah, I think everyone's fine with Bowens, but
I like Bowens.
that's your match. I don't know, and it's especially when you've had such this big feud and it's Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite and all of these big names, and it's we're gonna do the Acclaimed Kyle O'Reilly and Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh.
It's weird.
Just not here for it.
Yeah, I'm not either. But what you are here for is the next match.
God damn, I love this match. People on TikTok, there was a decent amount that were I didn't care for this match. That y'all smoke meth. Because this was everything I wanted and more. Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vaquer. I am so sorry, Stephanie Vaquer, for not being aware of your game. Because it is, and I think that Mercedes was the perfect opponent for her because we watched Stephanie on Collision.
We did?
Stephanie, she had been on the Collision the night before the pay-per-view. She faced Lady Frost. But a very good wrestler, right? It was just that was a fine match. But the fact that Stephanie could do the strong style, hard hitting, combined with all of her abilities to do a ton of lucha shit, while still having like this frame that she's not like with Mercedes, you don't think that she can be like super strong style because she is just a smaller person. Yeah. And Stephanie was just, I don't know how else to say it. She just reminded me of like, wow, that's a perfect wrestler. Like it just the way that I saw Will Ospreay in New Japan, and I was like, that guy's perfect. Yeah. This is the guy. Yeah. And then I was like, oh wow, Ospreay could do strong style, and oh my god, he's one of the greatest high flyers I've ever seen. Oh wow, this guy could be perfect, and this is a guy that you could build your company around. I looked at Stephanie, I was like, this is Will Ospreay just as a woman. She was so good in this match. She put Mercedes in this kind of submission, and that's not the other thing. She was a technical genius as well. Yeah, it was insane. She was able to put Mercedes into like this pretzel thing that probably made Zack Sabre Jr. weep backstage. Like it was just amazing. The high flying here, and that's what I really love is that when it became a lot of that lucha stuff, that's where Mercedes really excelled in this match as well. Yeah. But also Mercedes is one of the best sellers in wrestling. Yeah. So Stephanie was able to be such a strong style wrestler that Mercedes can sell like she is getting shot. Yeah. And it's so good. This match was just, I thought, perfect chemistry. I don't understand the like controversy of people being like, oh, I don't like this match, to people being like, I love this match, because I thought that just everyone would love this match. Yeah. This was I need to go now watch Stephanie Vaquer because she's like number one on my list of like people I have been sleeping on. And then
my potential moment of the night. I have to talk about it because it's the only thing I'm thinking about every single day of my life.
I thought you were going to give some kind of take about the match, but then again, I did cover basically.
You hit everything, and then you kind of just ranted about Stephanie, and
so I'm you go ahead now. Have your moment here.
Britt fucking Baker returned. I popped so fucking hard. I am so excited. This has been like anybody who speaks to me. I have been waiting for Britt and Mercedes. I told my mom that I was waiting for Britt and Mercedes. She has no idea who these people fucking are. I'm so fucking excited for these two. This has been literally one of my dream feuds, dream matches. And like, I know this is Forbidden Door review, but we're kind of recording it late. So we saw Dynamite. Yeah. We saw the segment. I don't know how many bitches were thrown out in that promo, but it was great. I was just sitting there eating. I was seated. Okay. There is not a human in this world who could get me off this couch when that match occurs at All In. Yeah. Like Jeff Hardy comes in and be like, respectfully, sit.
That's crazy. I would not, but all right.
He'll sit with me. He'll watch it.
But no, this is like when you are looking at All In as their WrestleMania.
Yeah. They're really making it their WrestleMania. They're putting all the dream matches in there.
This is the dream match. This is the all-in match. This is the match. And that promo on Wednesday goes, I don't need to see anything else to buy the pay-per-view. Right. I mean, obviously, we're going to have so much stuff. We're going to have Hangman Swerve. We're going to have Ospreay, MJF. We're going to have a ton of, it could be the greatest card of all time. Who knows? But it is going to be, this is already the selling point. Yeah. The first match here lined up. I don't need anything else.
Well, that's what's crazy is they've already sold 40,000 tickets. And there's technically not a match announced. We have a good idea of like who are the possibilities or who will at least be on the card. We don't know who's facing who, but not a match announced. And they've already sold 40,000 tickets. Yeah. That's literally fucking insane. Yeah. But I think I'm just really excited because there's a lot of women in AEW that I like. Yeah. But I think AEW has not put the focus on their women's division in the way that they should. So a lot of these women just need more experience. Like there's very few women in there who I think are 10 out of 10, both in the ring and on the mic and in like character work, like have all three. And I think top two that come to my head are Mercedes and Britt. Like, Mercedes is really, really good. I know people don't always love her promos. I've really liked her promos.
I think promos are okay.
I've really liked her stuff, but I think they're two of the best, if not the two best in AEW. But it's kind of like what you said when Mercedes first came out to interrupt Britt on Dynamite, was you were like, they can go toe to toe on the mic and in character work and in the ring. And like it feels finally like Mercedes has like a match for her. Like somebody on equal playing field in AEW. Like Willow has grown so much and Willow is so great, but Britt has that mean streak that's going to match Mercedes.
Unfortunately, even though I was praying that Willow was going to win because I love Willow because she is a pure and sweet soul, you kind of knew that Mercedes was going to win.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
With this, you really don't know. It really does feel like I
feel very, very strongly Britt should at least win the feud, if not at
I think Mercedes should win it all in. I think she should cheat
open to that.
And establish herself as a nasty heel.
I support that. But I eventually want Britt to take the title off her.
I think Britt should take the title out like Wrestle Dream or something.
Yeah.
Where it is like, honestly, it should be something where All In is the beginning of the feud. They should main event something else.
Yeah.
Like whether that's All Out or I don't know, because it's gonna be hard for Wrestle Dream because that might be like where Danielson's really done.
I think my thing
maybe World's End. Maybe if they go all the way to World's End, which I know is far away. I guess it would be 4 months.
That's not even my problem. My problem is if I'm looking at AEW, they really have 2 pay-per-views that stand out above all else. All In and Double or Nothing. Because of how long it's been around.
Revolution is my favorite.
Revolution is also good, but I'm saying
Revolution is like that's the one where the best matches typically happen.
Sure. But they're big, like as far as like just like the big presence is gonna be All In and Double or Nothing. So I just think it's hard because they're also like they keep adding new pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Or like changing the names of shit and whatever. So it's hard for me because I don't know if this is like a weird OCD thing that I have, but like when somebody loses, like the babyface loses at like WrestleMania, I expect their W at SummerSlam. Like the next big one. Okay. If they then get a W at Backlash, I'm like,
yeah.
I don't feel that was equal moments. You know? So like for me, I'm okay with Mercedes winning it all in. And I think that is a really good way to go.
Yeah.
But my concern is I don't know if there's an equal moment for Britt after that until maybe Double or Nothing. But I don't even know if Double or Nothing is necessarily like as big.
Oh, it's not.
I don't know if they don't really have like a SummerSlam.
I guess that is their Double or Nothing is basically their SummerSlam.
It kind of is, but it's like it's not as they don't have a big four.
Yeah,
they don't have a big four,
which
is part of the problem.
Yeah.
Which part of me kind of likes that, and I've said that before.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, I like that they don't have a big four because then every single pay-per-view feels important, and that's one of the reasons I like that they don't have a pay-per-view every month.
Yeah.
Which we do keep adding shit, so maybe slow that down.
Yeah.
Because I like that it's not.
That's why I think Revolution is the best pay-per-view because they don't do anything for 3 months.
Yeah.
There's no pay-per-view for 3 months, and that's where the best builds happen. That's where the best matches happen.
Yeah.
I think it's given the best time.
Well, there's a couple months between All Out and then Full Gear. They don't do any. They don't do anything September, October, right?
No, they have Wrestle Dream now in October.
Fuck, that's right. So they have about a month and a half off. Yeah. Maybe 2, depending on because all Out being right after is still like so fucking weird.
Yeah.
I think they need to just cut it, to be honest, in my opinion.
So.
But it's too hard to do a week apart.
No, it's terrible.
But anyway, I'm super excited for this. This is gonna be my dream match, and then we're gonna go into the last match later. But this is like one of my things I'm most excited for All In already.
I hate to say this, but I thought this, and I've said this on the podcast a couple times. Last year, when MJF was champion, it felt like he was punching down a little bit sometimes, where it was like he's trying to raise his competitor up so that they are on equal playing field.
Yeah.
It can feel like that a little bit with Mercedes. I think Willow's great. But in terms of like the star power, Mercedes didn't really have anyone. Yeah. Now it feels like she has that person. In the same way that MJF now feels like he has that star power when he's facing Will Ospreay.
Yes. I will say, though, to credit Willow, I think that feud uplifted her a lot in the eyes of fans. Yeah. And in the, like, just in general, like, she got to really put some, I don't want to say necessarily, like, character work, because I do think her character is just who she is as a person.
Yeah.
But I think, like, her promo and, like, interview skills, like, she was always like, everything's great.
Yeah.
these are my best friends. I'm having a great time. And then she got to kind of be like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
She's like, you kind of suck. And like, that's a lot for Willow.
She's my most improved of 2024.
She is killing it. I think it forced her to grow a lot. And maybe it wasn't even growth. Maybe she always had it, but it just allowed her to showcase it. But either way, there was a lot of growth on screen that happened. So like, I do think that Mercedes brought that out of her because she knew, probably knowing like, I gotta try to get up to that level.
Yeah.
But when they were gonna do Sky Blue, I was like, that's cool for Sky Blue, like that they trust her to put her in that spot, but that's definitely punching down.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. Britt and her are like, they're neck and neck.
Yeah.
These are my two bitches, and I'm so fucking excited.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking excited.
I do think that Britt eventually takes the title off of Mercedes.
And I can't wait for that moment.
But it's so funny because the reaction from all of this was they're fighting over the TBS championship, which one, since the TBS championship has been established, we can make the argument that it's better than the women's championship because Jade, I think, carried that championship to women's championship status, and that was the first run of the championship.
That's a discussion.
But then you had now you have Mercedes and Britt, which just makes the title like, all right, now it's on an even play field.
You have two of your top women.
That's what you want for the mid-card title.
Yeah.
That's back in the day. Yeah. That's what you had with the IC title when Randy Savage was IC champion, and you were hoping, you were praying that the IC title could do that, so that the IC champion could challenge the world champion. It could be on even playing fields, and that's what happened recently with Gunther.
It's also kind of what they're doing with Ospreay and Swerve.
Exactly. Well, so I was gonna say the IC title has been put onto that realm. Yeah. Now maybe just taken off a little bit because Gunther. I don't think that. But then again, I mean, like I think that you can make an argument. Sammy could beat Damian Priest, you know?
Sammy could. I think with Sammy, I think they're trying to use Sammy, for lack of a better term, to like bring up some lower people, which just kind of brings the title back down a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I do think Sammy is a good guy to do that for, so it's like a give
and now AEW's done that with the International Championship.
Yep.
That it's like, this is what you want out of your mid-card championship.
Yeah.
You want them to be like, that dude is the mid-card champion. That dude holds that title. He's in a great feud here. Once he loses that, world champion. Yeah. And that's what you hope for every single mid-carder.
Yeah.
Even though, like, someone like Ospreay wasn't mid-card.
Right.
Or, like, someone like Mercedes isn't mid-card. But I think that it holds that championship so that the next person that beats them, you're like, that could be the world. That's the next world champion.
Yeah.
And obviously, Britt is, could easily be that.
Right, yeah.
I'm very excited for that.
We could talk about the opposite, losing titles.
Oh. I just thought you were going to say that this match was not well received.
Naito and Mox wasn't well received?
No.
I didn't know that.
I think that was probably the biggest disappointment from the show.
Now, to be fair, we had dogs fighting during this match, so we missed a lot of it.
Yes.
But what is the online thoughts there, she asked?
Just that they both kind of looked washed a little bit. I think that's a little harsh on Mox.
Yeah. I don't know what Naito really wrestles like. I don't think I paid attention that much.
Naito, I think, can still perform. I think that this was a large overreaction to these guys, which it was not a great match, and I do think that it disappointed. But I think that it's a large overreaction to their ability in 2024 because Battle in the Valley happened this year, and it was one of my favorite matches of the year.
What was that, like
Mox versus Shingo.
No, it was January.
I thought it was February.
Was it
It might be January.
It was the beginning of the year.
Regardless, it was in 2024. I do think that their match that we watched in Chicago is better.
Okay.
But I think that's really hard because you have like 14 matches on this card. You can't give everything a ton of time. Yeah. Obviously, the main event was going to get a ton of time.
Yeah.
So it was kind of put into a little bit of a bad spot, but I do think that it was probably a little disappointing for a lot of people. But I don't think that this is a showcase of either guy's ability in 2024.
No, but
I do think that Naito's not as good of a wrestler as he used to be, and that's okay.
I think part of the problem is for a lot of people watching AEW, and they'll watch, and if they see one bad match from somebody, they're like, oh, washed.
Yes.
Oh, washed.
That is a huge problem.
Oh, washed. Or like they'll see a clip because they don't actually watch the pay-per-view. So they'll see a clip of it and then go, damn, that move kind of sucked. Or like, oh, he didn't even sell that. Or like whatever. And they're like, oh, washed.
I actually think that this is more of a problem with AEW fans.
Is it AEW fans saying it?
No, yes.
Oh.
I think in terms of this, what you're talking about, this point that you're talking about, I think it's more of an AEW issue.
Okay.
Because AEW fans will watch, say, MJF versus Hechicero. a fine match.
Yeah.
It's the 6th best match on the card.
Yeah.
And they're like, kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because they just watched Ospreay and Swerve.
AEW fans are spoiled.
Yeah, exactly. They are spoiled,
I
so then
think-
they will go so far to be like, is MJF even a good wrestler anymore?
It's
Because he
so-
had the 6th best match. And I'm like, you put him in the main event with Swerve, and now he had a 6-star match. What are you talking about?
I think it's just so interesting to me because I feel like I don't see as much AEW haters. AEW fans who are hating
on it.
I don't see that
Gotcha.
almost ever. And I don't know why that is. So, I didn't know any of this reaction.
To be fair,
that
I
match.
follow a lot of just like, I don't even know if they'd be AEW over everything. I think they're just like, they are, pure wrestling, New Japan, fucking CMLL, just everything. They are just like, this is what Tony Khan is booking for. The sickos. They are the people that are like, dude, did you catch, Rampage? Because I had to talk about this Rampage
I love that
match.
that's his
you know
new
what I mean?
tagline, too, for the sickos.
For the sickos. I do like that tagline. But yeah, I do think that was a little bit disappointing. I think that the biggest disappointment, and it's what I feared and what ended up happening, is in Chicago, I thought, hey, Mox might take this title off of Naito. And if that happens, I really think that at Forbidden Door, he should lose it. But I think that he should lose it to Gabe Kidd or Shota Umino
Someone
or
younger.
Yota Tsuji or someone, or I really, really think that Zack Sabre Jr. could have been that guy. Or if Takeshita wanted to do more in New Japan, do stuff like that. And I totally understand New Japan wants their champion to be in New Japan. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
And then they went with Naito, which I knew that was, and it has already come out that Tony Khan had that agreement with New Japan so that they could get a win on Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
And that Mox could be the only wrestler to ever win WWE,
could have
AEW, and
all
New
the
Japan.
titles,
He could have all the championships. It's amazing. It's amazing for that. But I really think that, and Naito was very early on in his run, and hopefully he can have a good run with the championship. But I really think that they kind of missed the boat on establishing somebody else, or even Shingo, who is still a lot older. But we should have the next crop of the great New Japan wrestlers coming up. And I think outside of the young guys, I think it's really only Shingo and Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, it sounds like if that was an agreement made, it sounds like this was kind of like, we'll let Mox have this time for a little bit to kind of do this between companies, and then we'll get it back.
Yep, exactly.
And kind of just like a pause, take a little dip over here, little side road, and then go back to the main point.
But it really scares me for that next point of who is taking the title off of Naito.
Yeah.
Because I think that it needs to be one of those guys that I mentioned. I personally am all for Gabe Kidd because I think he is the next guy.
Do they have a pay-per-view coming up? New Japan? I mean, I'm sure they do, but when is it? Do we know?
I don't know when their next pay-per-view is. Oh, they're going through the G1 right now.
Oh,
So,
right. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we can end now with the main event.
Best
do
match?
think best match on the
Best
card.
match.
Definitely best match on the card.
Arguably best match of the year.
I would have to think that through. But this is what I was talking about, where I'm saying Britt and Mercedes is up there as like second, maybe third.
Yeah.
Most excitement for All In, because I don't know what we're doing with Ospreay, Swerve, MJF, Garcia.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's one match. I don't know if that's two matches. I don't know if that's three matches. But those four men kind of hold my other top spot of most excited for All In. I do like, at kind of skipping to the end for a sec, I liked at the end that Swerve went a little babyface.
Yes.
And kind of had that moment
went over to
with Ospreay. And I really like what came out about Ospreay, where he was like, I will take the L to Swerve because nobody in this building should be unwilling to lose to the world champion.
Yeah.
So, which also kind of makes me wonder, like, who didn't
there's
want
been all of those reports, back in the day. This was a while ago, but it was Malachi didn't want to lose, Rusev or Miro didn't want to lose.
Yeah, but that was a long time
I don't
ago.
know if there was anyone recently or anyone that didn't want to feel as though, I don't know. If you think that you should not lose to Swerve Strickland, genuinely one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
Like, who is that? Because
I
don't
have
believe
no-
that there's anybody.
I have no doubt that whoever said this is somebody obnoxious and delusional. But I guess my thought process would be like, why would Will say something like that? Why would he say that? Why would it cross his mind if nobody did it? Like, somebody said, like, I don't think I should have to lose to him. Somebody said that.
Yeah.
And that's what made Will do that, which makes me love Will even more. But anyway, this match.
The only person that I can think, and this is not to say like that it is this person by any means, but the only person I can think is what, MJF?
He would have the attitude maybe for it.
Just of anyone that is at that status, unless they are just straight up delusional. You know, if this is, once again, this is not going to be the person or anything, but like, you know, it's not going to be a fucking Kyle O'Reilly or, you know, somebody like they're not going to do that.
Right.
Because of their status.
Maybe it was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense, actually, to me. But this was definitely a match of the year contender. I feel like we're getting into an era of like every single year we're saying it's Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, and now we're getting to every single year it's a mix between Ospreay, Swerve, MJF, Danielson.
Hangman. Yep.
Well, Hangman's been gone for a while, but yes.
Yeah, but like yeah, it is. I did get some criticism from my video that was like, so is every pay-per-view have a match of the year? And I'm like, but kinda.
Right.
Like,
but
I'm sorry,
here's
but
my
kinda.
thing. Why is that bad?
Right. That's what. So people were saying
shit.
like, well, these last few pay-per-views have had some insane matches.
Actually,
like,
you want me to be honest? Does every pay-per-view have to have a match either? No, because WWE's normally don't. You want me to catch a fucking attitude? Cody AJ maybe.
Cody AJ was very good.
But I'm going to I love my Cody Rhodes. My American Nightmare, my king, my guy, my fucking dude, right? I'm not putting Cody AJ above anything Will Ospreay does.
No,
Sorry.
well, so I mean, I think that the argument is Will Ospreay versus Danielson or Will Ospreay versus Swerve here. That's my matches of the year.
I gotta think about it
at the moment.
I gotta go back.
I do think that in terms of just wildness and everything, and the moments that both the Double or Nothing main event of the Stadium Stampede, or that wasn't Stadium, whatever the fuck,
Anarchy in the Arena. I had to think about it.
And then Sting's moment will be over everything, I think, this year, because like that match to me is perfect.
Yeah.
And it's not a great pure, wrestling technical match, but it's perfect.
Yeah.
But like those four, and it's like, yeah, that was each like basically this year's pay-per-views. It was Revolution, it was Double or Nothing, it was Dynasty, and it was Forbidden Door. And
yeah.
like, I don't know what to tell you. They all have put on these main events that have been insane in their own way that you can make the argument that they're match of the year.
Yeah.
It's sorry that they put on amazing.
I know, it's just weird to be like, oh my god, all these matches are so good. That's so annoying. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
I think that they think that like a lot of AEW fans like really overhype the matches. But to me, it's like if you're just a wrestling fan, go watch Swerve and Ospreay. You're not going to come out of that anything other than, goddamn, that might be match of the year.
Right.
Yeah. It's Swerve is such a good wrestler. I genuinely think that in terms of in-ring, overall character work, I think he's probably top 5 in the world.
He's definitely like, he's never been like my guy. I've never been like a Swerve person, but he's definitely undeniable in what he does. He's great in the ring. His character work's amazing. He really gets down to like the details of things and like the mannerisms of everything and everything that he does. And he's great on the mic. Like, he really is, like, almost flawless.
I mean, this is another person that you watch and you go, wow, he can do all of the high flying. Wow, he can do the strong style. Wow, he can do the technical.
He is that perfect mix. Yeah.
He is a perfect wrestler.
Right. So, I don't know. I'm just really excited for kind of where we go from here. He defeats Ospreay. But now we have Ospreay kind of going towards MJF with Garcia in the mix. It's a lot happening.
Yes.
I think Hangman's probably next.
Before we end talking about this match in particular,
okay,
I did think, and this is a slight, and this may be why Ospreay Danielson is over this match.
Okay.
I don't love the involvement of Don Callis. I know that it was minimal.
Yeah.
But I still didn't like it because right when it happened, I went, please don't overbook this.
Yeah.
Because you have such a good match going on. And you have Ospreay go for the Hidden Blade, which, by the way, a thing I have not mentioned, and I have not seen mentioned, is AEW's camera work during Ospreay's Hidden Blades. Because this is this was the first time, then the second time ends up happening against Garcia, where the camera is away from Ospreay. So he just comes in like a bolt that it looks like, and you don't see the Hidden Blade coming.
Yeah.
He tries to hit Swerve with the Hidden Blade, ends up hitting the ref, gets knocked out, and Callis offers him the screwdriver. I think it's just really dumb. I don't care about the screwdriver anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's just overbooking.
Yeah.
And Ospreay obviously decides not to do it, and he won't do the Tiger Driver. I think that they should have built up the Tiger Driver a little bit more.
Yeah, they haven't really gone into that too much.
I saw someone say this beforehand, and I was kind of hoping that it happened, but I really wanted Swerve to beat Ospreay with the Tiger Driver. Swerve had kept talking about the amount of sacrifice that he's willing to make while Ospreay isn't. And I really would have wished Ospreay would have went up to the Tiger
doesn't
Driver
grind, so.
and go, yeah. I guess Swerve doesn't either because if you're in AEW, you don't
That's
grind.
fair.
I really wish that Ospreay would have went up for the Tiger Driver, would have just waited and been like, I can't do it. And then Swerve reverse it and go, I'll do it. And does the Tiger Driver on Ospreay. I really wish that was
That would have been cool, actually.
I wish that would have happened.
Yeah.
But I do love the stomp on the outside through the announce table.
Yeah.
This is truly like this is Shaq and Kobe, which I was also I needed to make a TikTok about it, but I was calling Swerve Kobe, that he's willing to sacrifice everything. While Ospreay's kind of like having fun and like doing all this, he's
like, I wasn't actually good at this,
which is like Shaq. He was having fun, but he was like, I'm 7 foot tall and I'm just the biggest, most powerful person on the planet.
Yeah,
I can just do all this stuff and still have fun.
Yeah,
and Swerve takes this a lot more serious.
Yeah,
which is ultimately why he ends up winning the match.
Yeah,
I am glad that they didn't have Swerve use the screwdriver though. I'm really, really glad about that.
I know. I'm a little sad. I kind of wish that they because Ospreay just asked to leave the Don Callis family, and I almost wish they did that before Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Just because I'm so tired of Don Callis. I feel like that could have been done quicker. It just
wasn't needed. Yeah.
It wasn't. It was just it dragged on for too long.
Yeah.
Like we've known for weeks, if not going into a month or two, that Ospreay's gonna leave.
Yeah.
The family.
And he's rarely ever involved.
Right. So it's just like we should have just done that earlier than that, and then. And that could have been like Callis gives Swerve the screwdriver and dips.
And
screw
Swerve
Ospreay,
be like,
no,
I'm not. I would have loved it if even that, like Swerve being like, that's too far. I'm not willing to do that. Because that guy's still my friend.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. There was a lot.
Yeah. Or maybe we just don't get Don Callis involved.
Ever.
In this or just in AEW.
Just ever.
In general,
maybe
just
he
ever.
just goes home for a while.
That would be great. But now I do believe, going into Dynamite, that it will be Swerve versus Hangman. Hangman becomes the wild card, and we know that Hangman is winning this Owen, and it's going to be Swerve versus Hangman, which I believe I have been saying from the jump that this was the way to go.
Yeah.
This is the best story. This should be the main event of All In. This is where I think I'm gonna give a hot take. Okay. I think Hangman should win.
The title?
I think Hangman should win the championship.
Okay, we'll see how that goes.
I don't know if he will, but I think that he should. But I do think that they may be keeping Swerve to have that title, especially Wrestle Dynasty or Wrestle Dream coming up in Tacoma, where he's from. However, if he does lose that championship, I think that he is going to go, I want to retire Danielson.
You think so?
Yeah. And if that doesn't happen, I think he faces Danielson. Either way, I think it's Swerve versus Danielson at Wrestle Dream. I just don't know if it's for the championship or not.
Okay.
Because Danielson is basically refusing to win the world title.
Yeah.
But then I do think now, going into Dynamite, Ospreay beat Garcia because of that bastard MJF.
We all knew that was coming.
And I do believe that we are doing Ospreay versus MJF. However, I'm not so confident that Garcia is in that match anymore. I think he may just be written off.
No, I think he's gonna have a huge pop return right before All In and be entered into something.
I will kiss Tony Khan on the cheek if that happens. I will have Erica's dream, and I will kiss Tony Khan on the cheek.
I think that's what I think is happening personally. Because if you're gonna write him off for All In, why do it now? Why do it so? Like, it's not months away, but like, that's a while. We still got a month at least until All In. What is the date of All In?
I think it's August 25th.
Okay, so we got a month and a half, almost more than that, until All In. You gotta write him off this long for just to have him skip that? Write him off 2 weeks before it happens.
I hope not. That's a good point. I hope not.
What'd they do with Brian Keith? They wanted him off of a pay-per-view to have him not be in it. They had him beat the fuck up the week before, brought him back the Dynamite after.
That was so messed up that they were like, he's in a sling so that they can get Jeff Cobb on there, which it was cool to see Samoa Joe and Jeff Cobb. But then he just comes back and he's not in the sling anymore.
Yeah.
He's just fine.
3 days later. But, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Tony just wants to write this guy off, someone who is becoming one of your more popular characters right now, why write him off like 7 weeks before the show?
That's a good point.
Wait until a week or two before. We're like, even so, if he didn't want Garcia in this match the whole time and he's not changing his mind, right? Have him stay involved in the story and try to get in. He's trying to get into the match. He's trying to get a match with one of them, right? Eventually, MJF does what he did this week. 2 weeks before All In, he goes, I'm sick of your shit. You're not good enough to be here. Whatever MJF would say, beat the shit out of him, and he's not in there for All In.
Yeah.
There's no need to do it this early if he's not coming back right before All In.
That's a decent point.
I'd have him come back a week or two right before. Honestly, I would do it the Wednesday before All In.
Yeah.
He comes back, huge fucking pop, because they're going to keep talking about him.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
So, huge fucking pop from the fans, huge reception when he returns and walks out, and they enter him as a third person, and it's Ospreay, MJF, Daniel Garcia. Garcia wins the match at All In.
That's what I need. However, I don't know if he will because it's in Wembley, and I think that entire crowd is going to be dramatically
Mad if Ospreay lose.
Will Ospreay supported, and
but Garcia is also very loved. I think they could get away with it.
I think they can get away with it if they do something with MJF, where MJF like costs Ospreay.
Yes.
And Garcia's like, I took my shot, but it's not like, it's not him doing it in a heel way.
Yeah. But he's going to take advantage of whatever happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do think that we are getting in some way, I think that there is a shot that Garcia gets involved at All In, but he is not in the match, and he costs MJF.
I dislike that more, but I hear that.
Yeah, and then we get into MJF Garcia.
Yeah.
Like going into All Out. That could even be an All Out main event.
That would be a really good way to go from All In to All Out and not make it forced.
That could be really, really good. And then I think that then if that happens and Will Ospreay still has the championship, it is going to be Ospreay versus Ricochet going off of that.
Yeah, he's actually supposed to debut really soon. I saw.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe
Okay.
it. Yeah.
All right. Well, wrapping this up,
Yeah.
what is your overall rating of Forbidden Door?
I would give it like a 90 out of 100.
Okay,
Like,
I was thinking
give
out of
it,
10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 9.
Okay.
Probably.
I think I'm going 9 out of 10 too.
Yeah.
Because I still hate Jericho being on the card.
Yeah.
There are a couple matches I was on, but also some really, really great moments, some good wins. I don't think anything went super opposite of like the way that I think it should have been. So I'll give this a 9 out of 10. I'm down for that.
I think also I think that they were a little picky about the other, like the CMLL, Stardom, New Japan wrestlers that were on the card, but I do think that they were really, really good picks. I do think that there was certainly some stuff that you could improve on, like putting Gabe Kidd in a more prominent spot.
Right.
I do think Bang Bang Gang should have been on this card.
I do wonder if love Jay White. I do wonder if now having multiple companies involved made it harder.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure
it did, but like I wonder if like Tony made it. He was like, "This is good. Next year I'm gonna plan a little better."
Yeah. Well, I think like something like if that Roosh thing would have happened, and you're not trying to get someone like Hechicero on there, you're getting Gabe Kidd versus MJF, which would have been they actually might end up being best friends, the way that they talk.
It's fair.
But something like that, I do think that they had to be limited in the people that they picked, and I think that they picked all great people. I don't think that it was necessarily almost anybody a bad pick. I don't know if there was. I still would have picked Naito to not been in that match and got the title back, but that's for a different thing. That's a whole New Japan thing, but yeah. This was a great show.
Yeah, it really was. I'll stick with a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think we're good there. And then we have Money in the Bank coming up tomorrow.
Yes!
So we have that, and then what's the next AEW pay-per-view? Is it All In?
It's All In.
All right. Well, then there we go. All right.
Well, yep.
Cool. Thank you all for watching. Leave in the comments your thoughts, your ratings on the pay-per-view and all that kind of stuff. And then we will see y'all on the pod tonight, actually, for SmackDown.
Give me
I'll
a
get this out before
1,000-word
then.
breakdown on your thoughts on this pay-per-view, finished with a match rating out of 100, and how you feel about Stephanie Vicker.
No. Okay. Thank y'all for watching.
Deuces.
Bye.